people with diabetes want to be independent. This disease belongs to us, it's our disease. We don't like other people interfering with it, but at the same stance, we rely on other people to pull us out of trouble when they're there. I can always remember my mum and my ex-husband, for that matter, always saying, why do you do this to yourself? I.e. eating too much sugar or having one glass of wine too many. Why do you do this to yourself? Because I'm a human being is the answer. But it's very difficult for a partner to understand that we need freedom to make mistakes and to do things wrong and be rebellious. But we also have to rely on somebody else picking up the pieces, because it's not just like a hangover where you're sick or you've drank too much and you're sick, your blood sugars drop, you could end up in hospital, and the person that's nearest to you is the person 9 times out of 10 that has to deal with it. We know we put a lot of pressure on them and we feel incredibly guilty for that, but we also need to do it as well. I was diagnosed at 5, so obviously my mum initially did the injections and my dad did them as well for me. But one thing that was fantastic that they both learned to do very quickly and very well was to not show any fear in front of me. Now, that was great, because as a child, because they didn't show any fear, I didn't know there was a fear to have. And therefore, my parents' positivity towards it was a huge influence in my very quick transition to taking my own injections. So I was around about 6.5 when I first started injecting, but my mum did give me breaks and holidays where she'd give me a day off and she'd do it for me. So, you know, that was a treat to me that my mum would do my injection for me. So sometimes you just needed a break from having to do that every day.
Well, obviously in the first instance we had to explain to the school what had happened and how Laura was going to be treating herself, her insulin regime, what she needed to do in terms of testing her blood glucose, having regular meals and so on and so forth. And also I encouraged my daughter and the school to act as if, you know, she didn't have diabetes, to try and lead as normal a life as possible. It's not something that anyone could ignore. Everyone had to be aware of it, but it wouldn't prevent her from taking part in school activities and so on. And as for school meals and things like that, the school every term would produce a list of the meals that were going to be offered. And so I would look through the menu and just highlight any items that I felt they needed to watch, you know, the portions that she needed to take and so on. And then when the summer came and she didn't particularly want a hot meal, she used to take a packed lunch, which I prepared, so I could be sure that, you know, the right things were in the packed lunch. Obviously, if she was going for a sleepover, we'd have to let the family know, the family she was staying at, give them a contact telephone number if they needed to call us if Laura was ill or if she was anxious while she was away. If Laura went on a camp or an outward bound centre, obviously there were various forms to fill in. Make sure there was a responsible adult who would have her insulin, who would have an emergency kit if she had a hypo, and would know what to do in the event of any emergency. So it was really having all the equipment and all the knowledge in a form which other people could quickly access and understand.